Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're so happy that you're joining us. We wanted to take this opportunity to talk about the Magdalene Moonrise service that we're doing on Easter. This has been an annual event for over 10 years that a group of us have done. But what's always been really interesting is been what has been the astrology for the day when we do the ceremony. So I'm here with Karen La Puma, who is an astrologer who has graciously and generously done a reading for the exact time of the ritual that we're doing. And what came forth was so amazing in talking about what this particular Easter is all about. So I wanted you, Karen, to share some of the highlights of it. And then we're also joined with Luminessa and Jara, who has a story of one of the goddesses that emerged in the chart reading that is playing an instrumental and pivotal role for modern women as we move forward in this new time, in this new era. So, Karen, what did you find out in the reading? What's going on at 7 p.m. on April 4th for the Magdalene Moonrise service?
It was amazing. It's an amazing chart. It's a Libra rising, and it has a stellium, which is a grouping of planets in the sign of Aries. And Aries is individual. It's like express yourself. I've got to be me. I've got to do what I need to do. And what's so powerful is that there's the sun, which is right on the descendant, and the seventh house represents partnerships coming together. So women, this is a powerful message for women, because we're offering Easter in the light of the feminine, the goddess. There's a grouping. So we have the sun, which represents consciousness, right at the descendant. So it's the sun is setting, and right near that is Ceres. Ceres is the goddess of agriculture, and she's in Aries, and she was just uplifted to a dwarf planet, and she's the higher octave of the moon, which is nourishment. So Ceres in Aries says, women, nurture yourself, love yourself, believe in yourself.
Wow.
And it's an exact conjunction. And then right near that, 2 degrees away, is Venus in Aries. Venus in Aries is love, and love is the key, and self-love. All love starts with self-love. And it's series in the it's so the different aspects of the feminine. The Venus is the lover, the love goddess, and she also is creative energy, and she's the only alchemical goddess, which is sort of like a limelight. When she looks at you, she she has this energy about her. So this is an Aries. Give that energy to yourself, women. It's like we're seeing new roles. And then we have Black Moon Lilith, which Luminescence is going to talk about, and this is deep mysteries. And
So
then,
there are four types of Liliths, right? And
yeah,
this is the black moon. So what can you say about the black moon Lilith versus, or do you know the four types, or?
I'm studying it, but I really, it's to me, she represents the independent nature that's asking for equality, and she has to deal with the mysteries of life. She's not really, the Black Moon Lilith is not a planet per se. It's an area in the heavens, and so she moves along, but she's very potent here. And I will leave that to Luminescence to talk about that quality. But to me, just to say, Black Moon Lilith in Aries is, we women need to demand and their own equanimity within themselves, and ask for equality with others.
Like we want respect, right?
Respect.
Exactly.
Well, just this combination, and then we'll branch out. Um, Also, with Black Moon Lilith and Venus and Ceres is Eris, and I have been studying Eris, and Eris is the goddess of discord, but it depends on your consciousness. This planet is dwarf planet, is very, outer. outer banks of the solar system, and she's the revealer of discord. She says what needs to be changed. So she's the goddess warrior. She's an activist, and she's really coming into her own and speaking her truth and saying this isn't right. Let's change it. Now we have this massive square that's been going on in the with with Eris and Pluto. We've had it 3 times this year. That was when we first got in the lockdown, the George Floyd Black Lives Matter movement, and then we just had it now with this in late December, which is this insurrection. So anyways, these are the 4 goddesses that are bringing consciousness, and these are squaring the moon and Pluto in Capricorn. And the moon and Pluto in Capricorn say to me that we need to change traditional roles. So Pluto is transformation, death, rebirth, deep metamorphosis, like the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. And so this energy with moon and Capricorn is the traditions, the old roles, the status quo, the top-down power is being squared by these individualistic energies of the goddess, and they're being activated by Mars. Mars is in Gemini, giving energy to these new roles that we need to take. So that is the essence of this chart. And Mars is conjunct the North Node. So this energy to communication is our path right now.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
But that's a good start.
So since Lilith is playing a pretty significant role here, Luminessa, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with Lilith and who she is and how she's transforming things here.
So I first would like to share, before I even say anything about my story, that Lilith has a really important message for women because we are taking a predominant role in the world today. Lilith, we call this the age of Lilith, the age of the return of Lilith. That's the name that I like to call this, because she's not just a demoness. And there's an aspect which has been well known. People will see, you'll see fantasy images of her on Google. If you put in Lilith goddess, you'll see all these weird, strange images, you know, with teeth and fang and wings and the whole thing. She looks very dark. Now, that's an aspect, because that's an aspect of the feminine. There is an aspect of that dark goddess, but the Hebrews demonized her. The patriarchy took this powerful image of Lilith, who is the first woman.
Certainly superficialized and objectified, right, and a number of other things, because these concepts you're speaking of have to do with a sovereign being who's worshipped, and her gifts, that what she brings.
Right, and the point being is that it's time for all women to own this. Yeah. Because you see, if we don't get this ourselves, no one's going to respect us if we don't respect us. If we don't own our sexual power as sacred, if we don't own the sanctity of our bodies, if we don't say, I am a strong, sovereign, powerful woman, I know this, I feel this, I own everything about me as being holy. I am the holy vessel of the mother of creation.
Yeah.
Who I am. If we don't really get this, then nobody else will, because we get it first. Then through women, everything changes. Everything changes through this. This is how life was created. This is how we shift. Everything changes. So she represents the role women once held as the guardians of humankind's original nature, which was passed down from one generation to another with the intent to guide, protect, and preserve humankind's original way of life aligned with natural laws, restoring natural law back, restoring who we really are before the fall,
Yeah.
the fall of humanity.
Right.
And by the way, that's another myth that actually was, that story was actually created by Christian male patriarchs. That whole story was rewritten to fit exactly their agenda to what they were seen to do.
Yeah.
She adds,
Go ahead, Karen. I mean,
because Lilith is connected to Venus, which is the womanly wonders, and that's all that sexual energy also. And she's connected to Eros, which is the feminine warrior, the activist, and she's also connected to the nourishment. And there's another goddess in this that's in this play. It squares the moon, as I said, but it also trines Juno, and Juno is the partner maker. It's like, what are you committed to? That's what Juno represents. So this is an opportunity for women to own their own sovereignty, sexuality. They're speaking up and saying what's true to them. Eris is the truth teller, and not just a complainer. She's the truth teller. She says this needs to be changed, and life goes on. So Lilith is, mixing in this Aries energy is express yourself individually. Which one of these do you want to be today? Which one are you living, because they're all in you? Which one are you saying? And Lilith, to me, she was the patron of the women's libers in the 70s, because she asked for equality and to be heard and to be equal. So that's a sense. But this is very, very powerful.
I
The
know there
sacred.
was one thing also that you talked about, which I would love you to explaining more, because what we're doing is we're stepping into a ritual as a part of the Magdalene Moonrise service, and in that ritual is designed the the energies uplift us, and we're supported by these energies that we're speaking of. And so one of the things that came out of the reading was that there's a calling for women to gather. There's a calling for women to come, and not only just to gather, but to gather with what is the purpose of our community. We
And
see a pretty insane world out there. And
how
we're
can I
51% of the population. Hold on a second. We're 51% of the population. So we're 51% of the population, and we have no voice. We have no presence in that population to speak what we want to see. We must gather. We must come. We must vision. We must decide what is the purpose of our community. Do we want a world living in love or not? And if we do, then we need to come together and join in that way. So, can you talk a little bit about what the chart says about that?
First of all, the seventh house is joining together and supporting each other in our own individuality. There's a saying that men will support each other professionally, women support each other emotionally. But we need to support each other. How can I support? How can I gather? How can I co-create with you? And what role do I want to play? Now, Jupiter here is also opportunistic aspect. Jupiter says, I want to be more than the self that I am. It's in Aquarius, and it sextiles these planets, which is opportunistic. And it's, opportunity to be an activist, to be the deep, mysterious sexual being that is demanding equality within the self and with others, the love nature and the part of us that is expressing, how can we love more? How can we love better? What are the obstacles to love? These are the things we should look at. We have opportunities, and there's energy in this day, and there's conflicting of the past. that is saying we have to, remember where we're going, because we can reinvent ourselves. That's what this is calling for. Come together and reinvent yourself. Which part of the archetypal greatness do you want to bring into your life? That's what this is. It's so potent. The goddesses are talking. They're in community. They're supporting each other. They're being stimulated by the male. The consciousness is rising. That's what this is rebirth time. And this is a time for women to, this chart, it says calling them together to be your own individuality, support others, and to reinvent a new way to be. Which of these higher consciousness archetypes, which are universal patterns that live and dance within us, which ones do you want to become more alive in you? Because the opportunities are here.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So,
I wanted to just say a few things about this coming together,
sure.
the unity, which what the key is, as Lilith speaks to the modern woman, is first of all, she represents egalitarian or soft power. So we live in a world that has been power over, dominator culture. The feminine power is always soft power, power from within. She represents the power from within each woman, each person, and connecting with that power that once guided all of humankind. Remember, we once lived with this soft power. We once lived in unity with support, as Karen just said. We lived as cooperation in community, supporting each other, loving each other, giving, co-creating with each other, and to stay true to our original nature, to be rooted in spirit despite conditions of the world. It isn't about what's going on outside. It's about what's going here and how we feel rooted into our own power. She holds the key. This is really important, and I love this quote. She holds the key to the recovery of every woman's goddess nature. This is Lilith. She holds the key to every woman's goddess nature, embodying the archetype of the original, once highly esteemed and empowered, naturally spiritual woman. I love that quote, naturally spiritual, highly esteemed, very empowered woman. She reclaims, she returns today so that all women could know their true power, uniting together in restoring the feminine back to its original state of wholeness and purity, bringing forth a new frequency of the feminine for this new age. It's a new age. It's a new time. It's a new frequency that is untainted by anything from the corruption of the patriarchy. It's our own pure divine feminine energy that we as women are restoring ourselves.
Yeah.
It doesn't get restored from above. We restore it. We, all of us, come together to restore this feminine energy. It is through Lilith that every woman can begin to unite.
Thank you. And Karen, I think you had mentioned in the beginning of the reading that this was a Libra moon, right?
No, Capricorn moon, Libra rising.
Libra rising. So Libra is the balance, right?
Yes, this is all about balance and equality and seeking, but the power is the seventh house is Libra too, which is joining with partnerships,
Right.
co-creating. It's
Right.
we don't have to do it alone. Do it
Right.
alone. Support your sisters in any way that you can.
So in the domination and control model versus the soft power that Luminous is talking about, you know, there's this transformation that's happening. And Karen has a wonderful book about the transformation. You want to tell them what your book is? That
I wrote a book 30 years ago. It was published in 1990, 31. and it took me 7 years, and it's called Awakening Female Power. And I redid this book and to upgrade it and added Lilith. And it is the woman's journey, and it was highly I think it was before its time, and it was highly praised by best-selling authors.
And
And
you're, yeah, go ahead.
And I'm offering this as a gift.
Yeah, so if you buy your ticket, you will get the download for the Magdalene Moonrise Easter service. You'll get the download of Karen's book, which is really supporting this journey of the warrior goddess and the transformation that women have to go through. And so by diving into the energies of Lilith, which is, as Luminesso you talked about, she's bringing forth this wholeness, right?
She brings forth the feminine that we reclaim as our the purity of the feminine itself. So right. If we're pure, we're whole.
Right.
Not, in other words, the fragmented parts of the feminine, the dismembered parts of the feminine that has been seen in this world, we reclaim these parts. We restore these parts. We say, I restore the feminine to its pure state of being, because I restore myself as a woman to my pure state of being.
Yeah. Claim my wholeness.
My wholeness is, yes, your wholeness is innate within restoring your whole feminine self. Right. So there is no distortion in the field anymore. There's no distortion.
And women have so often been told that you are half until you find your other half, and then you're whole when you find. But now it's transforming that paradigm so that, no, you are whole, and you will come together in partnership with a man, in partnership, or with a partner of whoever is your gender of choice. Partnership. It's the co-creating partnership where people are balanced and people are in respect and people are living in a world in love. And this is what we're learning to do, and this is what we're evolving to. And so it's interesting that this moon for April 4th is first quarter split 50-50, half light, half dark. So it shows the yin-yang balance. And so I think that's a very important and interesting metaphor that we have this split moon, this Easter, to talk about this balance that's so needed, that women need to be seen as equal, and equality is love. That's what love is. There is no less than in love. When you're living in the consciousness of love, nothing's less than. Everything is equal.
One of the things that we get the opportunity to do at this time is not so much about healing the world that exists, but it's about creating the new world.
Right.
We can't, the old world is dissolving and falling apart, and it's meant to do that. The new world, the new age, whatever you want to name that it is.
New Earth.
The new Earth is emerging through each and one of us. And as a feminine being, men have feminine, women have feminine, but woman is special because of our bodies, because we give birth or have the capabilities of that. We are built with certain biological and physiological similarities that unite us. I've always felt that one of the most beautiful things women can share, and I think in tribal times, we all know that women shared menses and cycles and things because they lived in accordance with nature and the moon. Well, in our time, we've lost a lot of this. And even though there was a resurgence of the red tent movement and other things to bring women together, at large, by and large, we still do not honor these rights. So our biology unites us. Our biology gives us connection. I look at you as another woman and I say, you're like me.
Right.
You have a vagina and a yoni. I have that. I have these things. You have that. This to me makes us even more unified. And I think it's a principle we can remember at this time, that we're not separate by our bodies. We are brought together by our bodies. And so we shift this old distortion in the field. You know how it's always about women have to look a certain way, or we have to act a certain way, we have to have a certain body type. This is a distortion from the truth of our true feminine nature.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on, and we want to wrap it up at this
Yeah.
point, but
One thing more,
go
because
sure.
it's important. You know, this half moon you're talking about is in astrology. It's a 10th house square, and that is crises in consciousness. So this is a critical time. We are in the death throes. The moon is with Pluto, and the old roles. This is important to know. We have to break the old roles. That's why it's important to do your inner work, have a spiritual practice, heal the wounding, and then embody and reinvent yourself and come together with others. That's basically what this is.
And answer the call, because it's in the joining, in the sacred and the divine, which is very devoid in our culture and our society, the freedom to claim ourselves as divine, that we can grow into a world living in love. And so this is why we welcome you, and we want so much for you to be a part of this. Yeah, Karen, go ahead.
If you believe that the divine light shines within, then you are a goddess. You have to believe that the light is within you. That's the first.
Right.
And that's what we're saying. We're embody the goddess. I say the goddess warrior.
Yes, and if you buy your ticket online at the magdalenegospel.info, you will get a copy of Karen's book. So thank you so much, Karen, for being so generous. I appreciate that. And Luminessa, thank you so much for joining us. Um, Luminessa is doing a series which is on her Facebook page of the Ascension Priestesses.
We do. We have yeah, thank you for bringing us in. The Priestesses of Ascension is a group of wonderful women who are priestesses who teach many different things, and we work with ascension principles, and we do a series of videos that are on how we can embody the divine feminine at this time, and how we can use this to support the change and give us sustenance and nurturance and inspiration, and how the divine feminine can really help us right now going through these transitional times. And
Yeah.
Christy is a part of that.
And where is that Facebook group
There
page?
is a Facebook page. It is called the Priestesses of Ascension.
Right.
At the Priestesses of Ascension, I think. I think that's what it is. And I would just say, if you're interested in knowing anything about what I offer, and I'll be developing new work, I have a new ebook coming out called Lilith Revealed.
Oh.
It's really going to be all about these new teachings of Lilith, and it's in the works, and also be teaching a course that'll be, an introductory level course all about Lilith and how to activate her, embody her, and live with her. And my website right now is thenewfemininemystique.com.
And Karen, they can get readings from you as well, right?
I'm an astrologer. I have been since 1979. I created a tarot deck, and I'm the author of a series of books called A Toolkit for Awakening, and I have 8 done out of 12 that are written. So, and I'm coming out in my publishing process, and I have the steps. These books are based on the Goddess Warrior on the Hero's Journey, which is a step-by-step process to awakening.
Wonderful.
And they're full of pictures, so it's an easy way to learn.
So you've heard the call, and we are gathering on April 4th for the Magdalene Easter Moonrise service, which we always do, which will be filled with song and ritual, anointings, and dance. We're going to have dance on Zoom, and all kinds of wonderful things. And Kathleen McGowan, one of the top leading international scholars on the Magdalene, will be sharing some of her incredible research that she's done on the Magdalene as a teacher of the way of love. So we're very excited to have her joining us and being a part of it. So thank you all so much. And we'll
Thank you
see
so
you on
much.
Sunday, April 4th. Go to
Blessed be.
gospelofmarymagdalene.info. And thank you, Karen, and thank you, Luminessa.
Thank
Blessed
you so
be.
much for having me.